Abraham Grace Merritt was an American writer of science fiction and fantasy, known chiefly for his novel The Moon Pool. Born in 1884 in Beverly, New Jersey, to poor Quaker parents who could not support his studies, he had to leave high school and work in the editorial department of the Philadelphia Inquirer. In 1903 he was to testify in relation to a numbers racket, but was sent off for a year-long vague assignment to southern Mexico and South America, probably to avoid being able to testify. In 1912 he became assistant editor on the American Weekly, a position he held until 1937, when, after the death of editor Merrill Goddard, he became editor himself, a position he held until his own death. He was married twice, first to Eleanor Ratcliffe and then to Eleanor H. Johnson. I could not find out exactly in what year each marriage took place, however. In 1943 he died of a heart attack at Indian Rocks Beach, Florida. Extremely well paid in his journalist position, he invested in real estate all over America, taking his fiction more as a hobby. His first novel, The Moon Pool, was serialized in All Story Weekly in 1918. Dwellers in the Mirage was one of his later novels, serialized in 1932. Two men, Leif and his Cherokee blood brother Jim, are wandering through the Alaskan wilderness when they hear the sound of anvil strikes and distant archaic chanting. Leif is reminded of his experience in Mongolia with the Fairchild expedition. After a while living among the Mongols, they move to Uyghur territory, and soon enough a band of some 20 Uyghur ride to their camp, 3 of them staring Leif down something fierce due to his blonde hair and blue eyes. Having their men surround him with spears, asking peacefully to see his hands. After examining them, one of the Uyghur starts teaching Leif his language, which bizarrely he is able to learn almost right away. They force him to come along to the ruins of an ancient massive temple thousands of years old, to visit an old holy man among a council of hooded figures, who gawk at his ring with a kraken and pierce his finger to drop his blood into a stone, and then mix it with coloured water to prove something. Upon this something being proved, they all call Leif Dwayanu and ask him what he remembers of his past life, and if he remembers Kalkru especially. They have some way to make him remember scenes of his past life, and then make him memorize parts of a certain ritual to atone for the ancient sacrilege against Kalkru, the beginning without beginning, and the end without end, and he agrees to perform the ritual solely to get them off his case, not really believing it will do anything. But the old man says it must be done, so that in future they may bring those who still dwell in the shadowed land beyond the great water who fled during the time of the sacrilege. And so Leif is made to repeat the ritual, but it all goes horribly wrong, and he rides off, cursing himself forever. But he is told that, come what may, he whom Kalkru has answered shall be one day called by Kalkru. Back in the present, Leif perceives this unnatural chanting as this call to action. Leif and Jim enter a strange snowless valley in the heart of Alaska, and there they find a race of tiny golden-haired pygmies, while also meeting the evil witch-woman Saluda, in the process of kidnapping a young woman, the inevitable love interest Everly. Leif confronts the witch-woman and orders her back in the name of Dwayanu, the old name by which the Uyghur referred to him in the past, and it works, and so he rescues Everly, and they all start talking with each other. Everly was raised by the pygmies, who had been menaced by the Ager, the witches' people, for centuries after they came from beyond the Great Water, founding the city of Karak. A war broke out, and only by capturing and sacrificing the pygmies to Kalkru did the Ager force a peace. Entering the Black Citadel of Karak, Leif meets the witch-woman, who wants him to not only remember, but to become the ancient conqueror Dwayanu, and wage war against the pygmies unless his better self prevails. The novel is imaginative, though the connection between ancient Norsemen and Uyghur is a bit of a stretch. The Mongolian section of the book is far superior, the rest is a bit pulpy, with not many new characters. The Kraken god Kalkru is an obvious homage to a certain other pulpy octopus. On the other hand, Dwayanu is a more compelling character than Leif, by virtue of having a backbone, which isn't what I think Merritt intended. It is worth a read, if anything.